Hello everyone, today's video content is analysis of the real questions of the IIA-CIA-Part 1 exam and explanation of relevant knowledge points. The following test questions are all from our question bank, and they were updated on November 1st, 2024. Exam overview. Exam topics. Exam preparation guides. Question 1. Who is responsible for ensuring that internal audit resources are sufficient, effectively deployed, and aligned with the organization's objectives? The knowledge points of this question are: CAE's resource management responsibility. The CAE makes sure there's enough budget, people, and tools for the audit team to work effectively and independently. By planning well and aligning resources with the organization's goals, the CAE ensures audits are thorough and meet professional standards. Check out some options for this question. Incorrect. While the board oversees the audit function, they don't manage audit resources directly. That's the CAE's job. Incorrect. Senior management supports but doesn't control the allocation of audit resources. Correct. The CAE is responsible for ensuring resources are well planned and allocated to support audit needs. Incorrect. The audit committee helps review resources but doesn't handle their actual management. Question 2. Which of the following actions would help the internal audit activity assess the organization's risk responses effectively? The knowledge points of this question are: risk response assessment. Internal audit checks if the organization is handling risks in line with its comfort level. This means looking at whether management's actions stay within acceptable limits, and if everyone understands the risk policy, ensuring the organization is protected without being too restrictive. Incorrect. While helpful, simply documenting the risk appetite doesn't show alignment with actual risk responses. Correct. This approach checks if management's actions fit within the organization's risk limits. Incorrect. This checks awareness, not alignment with risk responses. Incorrect. Tracking incidents can highlight risks but doesn't confirm if responses align with risk appetite. Question 3. Who holds primary responsibility for updating the internal audit charter to ensure it remains current and meets professional standards? The knowledge points of this question are: internal audit charter responsibility. The CAE is in charge of keeping the audit charter updated so it accurately defines the audit team's role, independence, and purpose. Regular updates keep the charter relevant to industry standards and organizational needs, ensuring clear guidance for the audit team. Correct. The CAE is in charge of updating the charter, making sure it defines audit roles clearly and aligns with standards. Incorrect. While they may contribute, they don't hold the final responsibility. Incorrect. Consultants aren't responsible for core audit policies like the charter. Incorrect. The board approves the charter but doesn't directly handle its updates. Question 4. What is one of the most important governance functions of an organization's governing body? The knowledge points of this question are: Governance function. Governance involves overseeing risks, controls, and compliance. This keeps the organization on track, upholds ethical standards, and promotes trust among stakeholders, ensuring that all parts of the business are working toward shared goals. Incorrect. This is a management function, not a governance role. Correct. Governance bodies are responsible for making sure risk management aligns with strategic goals. Incorrect. Governance sets policies but doesn't manage coordination. Incorrect. Assurance activities support governance but aren't its main function. Question 5. What is the best approach for a chief audit executive to address concerns about insufficient training within the internal audit activity? The knowledge points of this question are: training and development in internal audit. The CAE supports continuous training so that auditors stay skilled and informed about the latest risks and techniques. This helps the audit team stay effective, adjust to new challenges, and maintain a high quality of work. Incorrect. Training needs to be audit-specific rather than organization-wide. Correct. This approach tailors development to individual auditors' needs, improving effectiveness. Incorrect. While helpful certifications aren't enough to cover all training needs. Incorrect. Team workshops are beneficial but don't address individual skill gaps. Question 6. Which of the following statements best describes a requirement for a quality assurance and improvement program? The knowledge points of this question are: quality assurance and improvement program requirements. QAIP combines ongoing checks with periodic reviews to keep audit quality high. These assessments help catch areas for improvement, ensuring the audit team is up to professional standards and ready to adapt as needed. Incorrect. QAIP needs more frequent, ongoing assessments beyond periodic external reviews. Correct. QAIP requires both ongoing checks and periodic reviews to maintain quality. Incorrect. QAIP should include both internal and external assessments for balance. Incorrect. QAIP is mandatory for a quality internal audit function, regardless of committee approval. Question 7. An audit reveals that the CEO frequently bypasses standard procedures. Which of the following best describes the potential effect on internal control? The knowledge points of this question are: impact of bypassing controls by CEO. When leaders like the CEO ignore control rules, it sends a signal to others that controls don't matter, which weakens the whole control system. This can lead to higher risks and makes it harder for everyone else to take controls seriously. Correct. If the CEO frequently bypasses controls, it signals a serious control weakness. Incorrect. Regularly bypassing controls by a top leader is more than a minor issue, it's systemic. Incorrect. Controls that are regularly ignored are not effective, regardless of monitoring. Incorrect. The auditor can conclude that there is a control issue based on this observation. Question 8. Which of the following demonstrates the principle of due professional care during engagements? The knowledge points of this question are: principle of due professional care. Auditors need to handle their work with care, understanding the goals and scope of each audit. Due professional care ensures that auditors are thorough, catch potential issues, and follow standards. which ultimately protects the organization's interests. Incorrect. Follow-ups are part of due care but don't demonstrate it on their own. Incorrect. Training helps, but it's not a direct example of due care. Correct. Knowing objectives and scope shows due care by aligning work with audit goals. Incorrect. Metrics are useful but don't directly reflect due professional care. Question 9. What type of control would require system users to authenticate before accessing sensitive information? The knowledge points of this question are: application control example. Application controls like authentication steps make sure only the right people access sensitive data. This helps protect against unauthorized access and keeps information secure, especially in areas like customer data or financial systems. Incorrect. Badges are a physical control, not an application-specific one. Incorrect. OS updates are more of an IT general control than an application control. Correct. Authentication is a strong example of application control for secure access. Incorrect. Backups relate to data recovery, not an application-specific control. Question 10. A chief audit executive enlists a fraud specialist during a complex fraud investigation. Why might this be beneficial? The knowledge points of this question are: engaging fraud specialists in complex investigations. Fraud specialists bring unique skills to complex cases. They know forensic techniques and can spot fraud patterns, providing depth to the investigation and strengthening the audit team's ability to uncover the full picture. Incorrect. Fraud specialists aren't necessarily better at general audit techniques. Incorrect. Being an expert witness is a skill, but the main value is investigative expertise. Incorrect. Due care is important, but fraud specialists are needed for investigative skills. Correct. Fraud specialists bring forensic techniques that help uncover hidden fraud patterns. Question 11. When developing a risk and control model for an engagement, which consideration is critical for effectiveness? The knowledge points of this question are: tailoring risk and control models. Risk and control models should be adapted to fit the specific organization so they're relevant and effective. A tailored model helps internal audit focus on the most important risks and gives management actionable insights for improvement. Incorrect. Global models are helpful, but may not fit every organization's unique risks. Incorrect. Strict adherence limits flexibility and may not address specific needs. Correct. Adapting the model to the organization's unique risks and goals makes it more effective. Incorrect. Having different models for each auditor can lead to inconsistency. Question 12. Which of the following would be an example of a consulting activity within internal audit? The knowledge points of this question are: consulting activities within internal audit. Internal audit consulting activities involve advising management, like providing tips for better risk management. These services help improve processes without overstepping into management's role, keeping the audit team independent. Incorrect. Compliance audits are assurance services, not consulting. Incorrect. Testing systems is an audit task rather than consulting. Correct. Advising management on risk helps improve practices, fitting the consulting role. Incorrect, supporting external audits doesn't qualify as internal consulting. Question 13. The internal audit activity is expected to provide value by supporting the organization's governance processes. How should it approach this role? The knowledge points of this question are: support for governance processes. Internal audit adds value to governance by sharing insights and best practices, helping the organization's leaders stay accountable and uphold good standards. This makes governance more effective and ensures that the organization is on a solid foundation. Incorrect, auditing everything isn't practical. Audit focuses on key areas. Correct. Offering insight on governance practices helps strengthen the organization's governance. Incorrect, internal audit doesn't set strategies, it assesses and advises. Incorrect, governance protocols are created by leadership, not internal audit. Question 14. A CAE develops specific controls at management's request. How could this action affect the internal audit activity's independence? The knowledge points of this question are: independence impairment due to CAE involvement in control design. If the CAE designs controls, it may affect their objectivity when they later audit these controls. Keeping a clear boundary helps the CAE remain independent and ensures audits are unbiased and trustworthy. Correct. When the CAE designs controls, it's a conflict since they may later audit those same controls. Incorrect, auditing a process is part of the role and doesn't affect independence. Incorrect, functional reporting is common and doesn't automatically impair independence. Incorrect, budget constraints impact resources, not independence. Question 15. The collaborating conflict resolution style is most effective under what circumstances? The knowledge points of this question are: collaborative conflict resolution. Collaborative conflict resolution is best when there's trust and time to work together on a solution that benefits everyone. This approach values open communication and can lead to stronger, longer-lasting outcomes. Incorrect, defending doesn't focus on collaboration, it's more about standing one's ground. Correct. Collaboration is most effective when there's trust, as parties work together openly. Incorrect, collaboration takes time, so it's not ideal when a quick decision is needed. Incorrect, when only one party cares, collaboration may not work effectively. Question 16. An internal auditor did not identify intercompany transactions. What is the likely cause of this oversight? The knowledge points of this question are: cause of failure in identifying intercompany transactions. If auditors miss intercompany transactions, it's often because they don't fully understand the organization's structure. Knowing how all the parts of the organization connect helps auditors spot important transactions and make sure nothing slips through the cracks. Incorrect, objectives affect the audit's focus, but structure knowledge is crucial for spotting transactions. Incorrect, skepticism helps spot fraud but doesn't directly cause missing intercompany transactions. Incorrect, supervision helps but doesn't replace knowing the organization's structure. Correct. Without a clear understanding of the organization's structure, auditors can miss critical transactions. Question 17. A newly promoted auditor takes on a role outside her expertise. Which IIA ethical principle does this most likely violate? The knowledge points of this question are: competency in the IIA's Code of Ethics. Taking on a role beyond one's skills breaks the competency rule. Auditors should only work on tasks they're qualified for, as this ensures high-quality results and upholds trust in the audit function. Incorrect objectivity is about bias, not skills. Competency is the key issue here. Incorrect confidentiality relates to handling sensitive information, not competency. Correct. Accepting tasks beyond one's skills breaches the competency principle. Incorrect integrity is about honesty and fairness, not technical skill. Question 18. What best demonstrates the organizational independence of the internal audit activity? The knowledge points of this question are: organizational independence. Independence is clear when the CAE reports directly to the board instead of management. This keeps the audit team objective, free from management influence, and able to give honest assessments. Correct. Reporting to the board keeps the audit function independent from management's influence. Incorrect reporting to the CEO may compromise independence. Incorrect budget approval doesn't equate to true independence. Incorrect working closely with management can blur independence. Question 19. Which type of assessment in the QAIP requires ongoing evaluation for efficiency and effectiveness? The knowledge points of this question are: continuous monitoring in QAIP. Continuous monitoring involves checking audit effectiveness and efficiency regularly, so the audit function stays high quality and can adjust as needed. This keeps the audit team up to date with best practices and responsive to changes. Correct. QAIP requires regular internal assessments to track ongoing audit quality. Incorrect external assessments are periodic, not continuous. Incorrect ongoing monitoring primarily involves internal assessments. Incorrect QAIP is not optional. Ongoing internal reviews are mandatory. Question 20. In the audit closing meeting, management questions unfamiliar findings. What skill might the auditor have lacked? The knowledge points of this question are: communication skills in audit reporting. Good communication in audit reports is essential to ensure findings are clear and understood by stakeholders. Clear, well-organized information prevents misunderstandings and helps leaders take action based on the audit's insights. Correct. Poor communication leads to misunderstandings, so clear communication is crucial in reporting. Incorrect technical skills matter, but clear communication is more critical for delivering findings. Incorrect risk assessment doesn't directly impact report clarity. Incorrect collaboration helps, but effective communication is what's missing in this case. If you have any questions about the IIA-CIA-Part 1 exam, please leave a message in the comment area or contact us directly. Thank you everyone for watching. See you next time.